Welcome back to The Great Expanse by John Bat 426 here on YouTube. It is always a pleasure to record these videos, to edit them, to put my unique spin on them for your viewing pleasure, for your listening pleasure. Hopefully I offer opinions and insights that you guys feel are worthy, that are validated. I don't want to just come up here and spew, because then we'll just become like every other channel. And we want to do that. We want to find our own groove. We want to find our niche. You know what I mean? But if you've liked the videos that you've seen thus far, hit that like button. Share these videos with other people that you know that like comic book related stuff as much as you do. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell for notifications. Which one? All. Not personalized or the one underneath, but all. So the next time a new video is dropped, you'll know about it second. I'll know about it first. One breath champ. Yes. And I love doing the one breath challenge. You see, I'm still trying to get used to the edit I made, because I used to say, if you like the videos that you've seen thus far, hit the like button. If not, hit the dislike button. So I'm still trying to edit out the if not, hit the dislike button, because I don't want you to hit the dislike button. Please don't. Like the video. Even if you don't like the video, just get through it and go, you gotta do better. That's what the comment section is for. Aha! That's what the comment section is for. Alright, terrible Yiddish accent, okay? But anyway, you know what the video is about. You clicked on the thumbnail. This is episode 7 of X-Men 97 called Bright Eyes. Now, when I first heard the title, the first thing that came to mind, because I'm not going to say I'm a nerd, but I am kind of a nerd. What do I mean by nerd? I have a lot of information and a lot of emotional investment into things that are fictional. That's basically what most people's definition of a nerd is. All right, so okay, maybe I just have good memory. But when I first heard the name, I immediately thought back to X-Men, the animated series, in the original incarnation back in the 90s. Now, Rogue, she had a previous encounter with Cable in an episode called The Cure in season 1. Okay, Rogue and Cable. In season 2 of X-Men the Animated Series, Time Fugitives Part 2. And I just remember the stuff. Honestly, I didn't look it up. I just remember certain things. Cable is on the roof about to shoot Bishop. Yes, Bishop, the time-displaced Bishop. And Rogue says, "Remember me, Bright Eyes?" And she came through and socked him. Bop!
Remember me, Bright Eyes?
So when I heard it, I was like, Bright Eyes. I was like, that was a reference to Cable. Okay, that was my initial thought. Okay, but I was thinking maybe in this one it's just a reference to Gambit. Okay, because remember, we didn't do anything about or see anything about the Gambit situation, about the Genosha issue in the last episode, Life, Death Part 2, which I thought was good. It was a good diversion. Like, we were reintroduced to Charles Xavier. We get more about Storm and Forge. Okay, that sounds like a great title, Storm and Forge. Okay, anyway. So now we are seeing the direct result, the collateral to the X-Men about the death of Magneto, the death of Gambit, and just the death of so many other mutants in Genosha. So we are at the funeral. No, we're not at the funeral for Gambit. Even though it may have been a graveside funeral, I'm not sure. But we see like the toughest, I'm gonna just be honest, the toughest part of a funeral is the burial to me. Because that's your final goodbye. This is it. I'm never going to see this person again. All right. And I don't mean to depress anybody. Don't be depressed. Relieve your stress. Bars. Okay. Okay. Anyway, but to me, it's always seeing that casket lowered. This was a cartoon. When I saw his casket lowering, I felt something. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I felt something. I didn't cry, and I go. Not that I would have a problem crying. I'm man enough to cry. But when I saw the cats, I was like, ooh, I feel this. You know what I mean? And then, like, and actually, it reminded me of the scene from, and hope I don't turn a lot of you off, but Dark Phoenix. Probably one of the more maligned X-Men movies. But, you know, when Mystique's character's dead and they're in the grave and the rain is coming down, that's what it reminded me of. Especially because it kind of focused on Beast a little bit. And I was just thinking about that scene from Dark Phoenix. But it's like, wow, it's like Gambit is really gone. Okay. So, we see Roberto da Costa and Jubilee, and they're discussing it. Roberto da Costa has not told his parents that he's a mutant, and his parents are well off. And Jubilee is basically trying to encourage him to tell his parents, because Roberto da Costa is like, man, he said, I would not want my mother to find out I was a mutant in this fashion. You know what I mean? Like, my son is buried under rubble. He's pulled out of it, and he's a mutant, and I never knew. So Roberto is struggling with the issue of coming out, and that's the metaphor for today's social climate. When young people are gay, it's like, I think there's an issue of, because I've never walked a gay friend through coming out. I just never been that person. Right? Not because I resisted, but I just never been in that position. So this is about him coming out as a mutant to his parents. But there's a parallel. Do you understand what I'm saying? So Roberto and Jubilee goes with him, which I thought was pretty smart. So she's an anchor. She's a support for Roberto. And when he's in front of his mother, she's like, oh, I knew. He's like, huh? And she says, I think she said he was 16. She said, when we kept moving from house to house because they were burning down, we put 2 and 2 together. And then she hits him with the bombshell. She says, but going forward, for the stockholders, we need to keep this quiet. And that is another big issue in this today's social climate. It's like, I accept you, but don't let everybody else know. You see what I'm saying? It's like, oh no, we don't have a problem with our daughter dating outside of her race, but let's not make it too public. You know what I mean? Or, and like I was saying about the whole gay thing, it's like, oh yes, he's gay, but let's sort of keep that quiet. And that could be a whole another box of worms that we're not going to go down, because this is the Great Experience by John 426. We're talking about X-Men 97, Bright Eyes. Okay, so now, I thought that was very well done, Roberto and Jubilee. So then we go to the main thrust, the X-Men. They are in Genosha. They are helping with the cleanup. We see a lot of mutants, well-known mutants. Now, Callisto was the leader of the Morlocks in the first season of X-Men, way back in the day. Storm defeated Callisto to become the leader of the Morlocks, but she immediately gave the leadership of the Morlocks back to Callisto. And Storm beat her without using her powers. So Storm is that girl, even without mutant abilities. So Callisto, not my favorite mutant, but seeing her dead, it really meant something, because she's like the leader of an entire mutant society. The Morlocks are underground dwelling mutants because they are just so, I must just say, deformed, okay? I mean, they can't pass for humans at all. Like Leech and all these others. Like, Leech is a green toad looking character. He can't go to a school. He can't. You know what I mean? And they understand that. So they live underground. They live in the sewers, okay? So then, you see other mutants going up to her picture. And that death almost hit hardest for me too, because like I said, she's the protector of a society, an entire society. All right, and was Sebastian Shaw dead? And I think Sebastian Shaw was dead too, which might not make sense because that is kinetic force. If he was like buried under rubble, because Sebastian Shaw's mutant power is the ability to absorb kinetic energy and discharge it physically. Now you saw that in First Class when Kevin Bacon played him. Okay. But also, we see that Emma Frost is alive. And this is the first time we've seen her in her diamond form, which is a secondary mutation she has. So not only is she a telepath, but she can transmute her body into a diamond form. Now, when she's diamond, she has no mutant abilities. Let me take it back. She has no psychic abilities, excuse me. Okay? So she can't read your mind. She can't really force you to do anything because she's in diamond form. So when she's broken out, everybody's happy that there was a survivor, which I thought was really cool. It's like one survivor. Yes, we love the fact that we saved one life. Okay, and then we go back to Henry Gyrick and Bolivar Trask. So we're still following the whole Sentinel resurgence that these two are responsible for. All right, so they go to Henry Gyrick. I'm still trying to remember because I watched the episode a few days ago, but certain things have happened in between them. I celebrated my birthday. I had a live stream for it, the first live stream on this channel. It was only like a less than an hour because I was out with my family. Check it out though, okay? All right. But anyway, so they interrogate Henry Gyrick. I don't remember if he was in Mexico City or if he directed them to Mexico City. I don't remember. All right. So they interrogate him, and afterwards, after the X-Men are done with Henry Gyrick, someone else enters his hospital room. Okay, 'cause I think he was recovering from injuries or something. And he basically, you know how it kind of goes, like when an underling is confronted by the boss, and it looks like the underling has given the opposition too much information, and the boss comes to collect. You know what I mean? So basically, he takes the pillow, and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest style, with Jack Nicholson, he smothers him to death with the pillow. And he dies. I was like, whoa, like that's very grown up. You know what I'm saying? So then, Bolivar Trask, of all people, sends Cyclops and the X-Men a message. And he says, I think that was in Mexico. No. That was in Madripoor. I'm sorry, I'm remembering correctly. He directs them to Madripoor. And he says, the vending machine never runs out of diet. Okay? So when the X-Men arrive in Madripoor, in the office building, they see the vending machine, and they click the thing on the vending machine. And I think it like slides back. Again, I'm having to remember from a few days ago because I wanted this to be an honest review. This is my first time watching it, so it's almost like a reactionary review. This is my recap with no cap, even though I have a cap. So then there's like a whole underground or secret passage or whatever, and they find Bolivar Trask. Okay, and he's like standing on the ledge of his office building. And office building, it looks kind of like it's been like through a war for some reason. Okay, and well, let me go back because some things are coming back to me. Henry Gyrick. Okay, so thank you for following me because as it comes to me, I'm gonna give it to you guys. He refuses to give up any information, and Jean Grey, the last time she interrogated him, there was like a psychic backlash. I don't know if that's because of Mr. Sinister or if it's because of Master Mold or because of the adversary. Because remember, I think I said on this channel, it looked like in the psychic images there was a flash of the adversary. I could be wrong, okay? So this time around, Jean Grey was like, no, Rogue. She said, oh, you don't have to worry about that kind of a psychic probe anymore. So she grabs him by his face and absorbs his information. I think she absorbed something else too, which I'll get into. So that's how they got the location of Bolivar Trask in Madripoor. So when they go to Madripoor, Bolivar Trask is talking about how repentive he is for, I think, the deal he made. And it was about a new form of Sentinel. Okay? And I don't remember if they went into details or not. But Rogue she did the Batman thing or whatever, I think. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember. Shame on me, because I should have recorded the reaction as soon as I watched it. But I was having issues with the lights for some reason. And then, after she kind of hears what they want to hear what they have to say, we talk about the new Sentinels, she drops him! Rogue dropped him. And it was shocking. Like the X-Men were like, what? And then Rogue turned around and she just had such a sinister look on her face, like he deserved it for what he did to Gambit. And I was like, what's going on here? And I'm gonna just say this: maybe she absorbed more than just the information from Henry Gyrick. Maybe she absorbed some of his personality as well, because Henry Gyrick is the type of guy that would push you out of a building to make sure you didn't spill the beans, or The Things I Do for Love in Game of Thrones. If you've seen that, you know what I'm referring to. So I'm gonna give her a pass that this isn't Rogue going totally PTSD that she would kill, I'm not gonna say an innocent man, but a defenseless man, a defenseless scientist that has no superpowers, maybe. I'm trying to say that she absorbed something from Gyrick, all right? So then while she's explaining this, there's like a kinetic disruption, and she turns around and she gets socked by this white hand. Like, it just came out of nowhere, bow! It looked like the impact of the punch, like, sort of like blew up the whole floor. It was weird when I was watching this. Like it became like unstable, and then Henry Gyrick turned into a human sentinel. A human sentinel. And I believe that's what Bolivar Trask had a problem with. Because Bolivar Trask has said he's always about protecting the little person, who in this case is the normative Homo sapien. Or I think Magneto in the comic books calls him Homo inferior, which is kind of, a derivative term. So I think that was Bolivar Trask's issue, that you're doing this to ordinary people to turn them into mutant hunters. So Oliver Trask himself, after he died, I guess his programming kicked in. I guess they operated on him unbeknownst to him, or maybe he knew about it and then said, I want to resist this programming. So now that he's dead, he comes back and he's like just like this super powerful character. And then this one-man Sentinel is sort of dealing with the X-Men on his own. Then out of nowhere, I think a grenade rolls in or drops in or whatever. It goes off and it's like an electromagnetic grenade. All right. And the electromagnetic grenade belongs to Nathan Charles Summers from the future, known today as Cable. Cable returns. And there he reveals to Scott Summers that he is his long-time displaced son, Nathan. Now, at the very end of the episode, we see Mr. Sinister enter this secret facility. And I was wondering if they were going to go the Apocalypse route, that Apocalypse was responsible for this. Or if he was, because Apocalypse can change his shape. He's a shapeshifter as well. And when I first saw it, I didn't know if it was Garrison Cade, or was it Garrison Kane, or part of Bridge, or whatever. And the guy is like attached to like a conduit, I think in the back of his neck or the back of his head. And so Mr. Sinister is speaking to him about things, okay? And the whole time, I don't really remember what was said, but I'm trying to figure out who this is. My first thought was that this is Genesis, the character Genesis. Not the Apocalypse Genesis, but Cable's son, Genesis, who turns evil. And I think he has psychic abilities. I haven't read too many comics about Genesis, but I do know that Genesis becomes an enemy of Cable in the future, and his own son, which is rough. Now, we saw Cyclops' son, Tyler. We saw him in the first season. Was that the first season? No. That was the second season. In Time Fugitives Part 2 that I alluded to earlier. We see him running, and then he's sort of like erased from history in Time Fugitives Part 2. And then in Season 4, in the 4-part arc, Beyond Good and Evil, we see him sort of grown up, fighting alongside Cable, his father, to defeat future sort of emperor tyrant Apocalypse. So I believe they could go the Genesis route, perhaps. And I also heard from someone else that this is Bastion, okay? And I believe Bastion is another human agent that's, I don't think it's part of Project Wide Awake, but I believe he's in the business of sort of exterminating or containing or incapacitating mutants for human superiority. I could be wrong about that. I will learn more on my own. But another fantastic episode. X-Men 97 is really knocking it out the park for me. I'm gonna give it a grade right now. A. This episode. This episode deserves an A. Okay. I had a few. I'm sorry. I almost forgot another part. The individual who might be Genesis or might be Bastion goes to another facility or whatever. And this might have happened before the Mr. Sinister encounter. But somebody is like almost in a barber chair. And then Bastion or Genesis begins shaving him. And we see that it is Eric Lensher, Magneto. He was not killed. Now, are they going to make Magneto a human Sentinel? Or is Magneto going to become a Horseman of Apocalypse? Because I believe that's where Gambit is going. Gambit was the Horseman Death in the comic books. I do not believe that Gambit is permanently dead. Since the whole world believes that Magneto died on the attack on Genosha, my ghosted. Since the whole world believes that Magneto died in the attack on Genosha, perhaps he could become a Horseman of Apocalypse too. Or maybe this will sort of be like a parallel Horseman. Instead of going the 4 Horseman route, maybe Gambit as well as Magneto will become the human Sentinels of Genesis or Bastion. Or it might not even be Genesis or Bastion. It might be somebody else new. Who knows? But again, A. Bring back Bo DeMaio. Okay? But another fire episode. I can't wait for episodes 8, 9, and 10. It's sad that we only got 3 left, but maybe this is what we need. Maybe we just need a short 10-block episodes to make us really get introduced to the current MCU audience. And hopefully it's not too over their heads, you know what I mean? But this, fantastic episode. I'm gonna do a ranking of the episodes to get it a little more kind of spur more debate or more insight into these episodes. But if you like the video, please hit the like button. Share this video with other people that love X-Men 97. You know what I mean? Leave a comment in the comment section or a dissertation if necessary. David Brent style. That's where your comments go, or dissertations. Do your part, and I will do my part so that The Great Expanse by John Bat 426 can and will. Another notification to end the video. Do your part, and I'll do my part so The Great Expanse by John Bat 426 can and will expand. It's in the name.